It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day to speak to U.S. Representative for California's 42nd Congressional District, Robert Garcia.
Hi, how are you
Congressman,
guys?
how
Great.
are you?
I am good. Happy to be here. Thank you.
I know you're traveling all over the place, but you are going to be in Palm Springs tomorrow. We are going to be gathering together once again with Courageous Resistance of the Desert, Indivisible, and 5051. It's a rally happening at the Downtown Park across from the Art Museum, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And we are so thrilled that you are going to be our keynote speaker, Representative. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really happy to do. I think it's a really, dangerous time in this country, and it's a moment where people that believe in good government, in supporting workers, and supporting the rights of LGBTQ plus people, of women, of migrants, can unite and stand up to all of these huge corporations and billionaires that are just trying to take more and take more from working families. And so I'm happy to be there. I'm excited. I love Palm Springs. I love the desert. Go out there as much as I can. And so I'm happy to be there.
Robert Garcia is the U.S. Representative, District 42. We have Representative envy here in Palm Springs because our congressman that we wanted narrowly missed a victory. Ken Calvert is the guy in the 41st. Now, Ken Calvert, of course, does not face his constituents at town hall meetings, but you do face to face. What are you hearing from the voters who put you in office?
Yeah, not only do I, of course, host town halls in my own district, I've been going to like Republican districts and hosting town halls in those districts when they don't want to host one. I was just in a Republican, Young Kim in Orange County, doing a town hall there because she won't host one, meeting voters in Ken Calvert and New Palm Springs in the desert when I'm there tomorrow. Because he won't meet voters and talk to constituents. He should be at these rallies. He should be participating, and he's not. And the voters that I talk to back home or anywhere I go, they're really scared. They're concerned that Donald Trump is moving rights backwards. Prices are still not coming down, they're going up. These tariffs are crazy. It's a tax on working families. And I think people just generally angry, but also quite upset about the pace and the destruction of our federal agencies that's happening so fast. It's the Department of Education. It's the work that's happening to slash food support for schools. It's the cuts to State Department, cuts to foreign aid, cuts to anything you can imagine. Air traffic controllers. Why are we doing this? This is insane. All because billionaires want more money. They want bigger tax cuts, and Elon Musk wants whatever he wants.
And of course, then they want to privatize everything that they've destroyed from the federal government and turn that into a profit center.
And they want to privatize everything. They want to take on Social Security. They're going after Medi-Cal in California, as we call it, Medicaid across the country. And they want to privatize things. One of the crazy things is Elon Musk is trying to privatize so many of the services that he's now cutting because he can, quote unquote, make them work better. That's just complete baloney. He just wants more money for himself and his billionaire friends, and Donald Trump could care less about the average person or working people. He just wants to see our government destroyed. He wants more power. He wants to enrich his friends. He wants more Trump hotels everywhere. And we've got to be very clear-eyed about that. And one of the ways to stop him is to ensure that coming up in this next cycle, that we do take on Ken Calvert. I'm going to work on to take on Ken Calvert and make sure we flip that seat.
Now, you have gotten rid of two bad pennies. You're actually for the retiring of the actual copper penny. And you were one of the instrumental members of Congress that saw to it that George Santos, the bad penny, was out. And he's going to jail. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I was the first member of Congress to call for George Santos to be expelled and introduce the first articles of expulsion against him. And months later, we expelled him from the Congress. And this guy was a complete fabrication, a complete liar. Now he's actually facing very serious time in prison
I
for
think
what
it's
he's done.
84 months, but who's counting?
Exactly. And look, and in some ways, and I've said this, I said this to him on the floor of the House, which is I feel he has to stand up and pay for his crimes and what he did. At the same time, I feel incredibly sad that there's this person that's clearly gay, that clearly was not able to grow up in a way where he could actually feel empathy and where he could be himself, where he could do drag if he wanted, or where he can just live a life. And instead, he chose this kind of horrific path. And so I both feel bad for him, but I also think he's got to be accountable for what he did, and he should not be in Congress. I'm glad he's not.
And as an out gay member of Congress and the youngest elected mayor of the city of Long Beach, you have given us a good name and he's been giving us a bad name. I wanted to ask you, is it more difficult growing up as an immigrant or growing up gay
Definitely an immigrant. I mean,
from Peru?
yeah, growing up gay is also hard, and I think they're both really tough. I was fortunate. I think being gay, a lot of it depends on your family circumstance, and I had a very supportive family, which I'm very grateful for. As far as it being an immigrant, if you're not a citizen or you're not documented, like I was most of my life, I didn't become a U.S. citizen until I was in my early 20s.
Wow.
You don't know what your future is going to be like. You're
Right.
always uncertain. You don't. Are you going to be able to work? Are you going to be able to stay in the country? Are you ever going to gain citizenship? Are you going to have access to health care? What immigrants face that are not documented in this country is horrific because the uncertainty. And, if you are a gay immigrant, a queer immigrant, like I was, I think it's even harder. But I'm grateful I had a good support system, and I had a good group of friends that were also kind of gay and coming out, and we did our thing and took our trips to Palm Springs and had a lot of fun there, on arenas, and we'll continue to do that. I love Palm Springs. I'm a huge fan of the whole desert community as well.
Being an immigrant now means that you could be kidnapped and taken to El Salvador and thrown into a gulag, and you have been advocating for Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and you went to El Salvador, and you've also, and I got to thank you for doing this because you've been saying the name Andry Romero in the media, nationally, CNN, MSNBC. You have been saying Andry's name. He is the 31-year-old gay hairstylist who is in that prison in El Salvador. And do you have any word on his welfare at this point?
This is a horrific story, and I started reading about his story, and I had connected with his lawyer, and gotten a lot of the information. His lawyer's a well-known immigration lawyer, and actually known for a long time. And when I started hearing his story, I was just stunned. Here's someone, by the way, we gave Andry a asylum appointment in the United States. The way you apply for asylum, he was escaping persecution in Venezuela because he was gay. He applies for an asylum appointment through a system that we've created. He goes to the border, claims asylum. He has his interview. This is exactly how we ask people to do it. It's the legal way to claim asylum. And then what do? We essentially kidnap him and take him to a foreign prison in El Salvador, a country he knows nothing about, a infamous prison, throw him in there. And we haven't heard from him. His family hasn't heard from him. His lawyer, who took on the case after the fact, who he's never talked to, never heard from him. It's been now a month, and no one knows. This is someone that's being described, by the way, by his family as very sweet and delicate, and just has never harmed a soul. His tattoos have nothing to do with gangs. They're tattoos of a festival, of a crown festival in his hometown in Venezuela. And so when I went to El Salvador, I met with the U.S. ambassador, and I told him about Andrew's story. After that, they made the first official inquiry about Andrew's welfare, and we have yet to hear anything. And this is it's crazy. And we've been following up, and we're now working with the ACLU, and they're taking this case to court. But this is happening to other people, and it's just, I don't know what the hell happened to our country, but this is where we are.
It's heartbreaking for sure. And where we are is where we need to be, and that's out and protesting, and we're going to be doing that tomorrow. It's happening at 10 a.m. at the Palm Springs Downtown Park, right across from the Palm Springs Art Museum. I'm going to be your MC. I'll make sure I have all of my notes in order so I intro you the right way. I'm honored to bring you on stage, U.S. Representative for California's 42nd Congressional District, Robert Garcia, is going to be in our city as we protest this current administration, which is dismantling, destroying, and then doing a fire sale of our democracy. And we've got to stop it. And we're going to be out supporting your efforts to do that. We thank you, Congressman Garcia.
Yeah, thank you, and I can't wait for it. It's gonna be a great time, and we're gonna be loud and proud. So I'm looking forward to it.
No sticks, no flagpoles, just placards and banners. They wanted me to say that, and it is an ordinance in Palm Springs. Robert Garcia, thank you for being in the neighborhood and for being in Congress, and also for going behind, I don't want to say enemy lines, but going into the red districts and talking to people and
Yep.
and waking them up, because we all got to wake up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.